welcome back to my channel. I'm filming today the making of a gift basket for my friend's birthday. Everything you'll see me put into the basket came from Home Bargains. The crate itself, I'm calling it a basket, it's actually a crate. We've already started with a lie. The crate itself was £3.99 and the contents came to probably around about £30 by the time I'd finished chucking stuff in the basket. So the first thing I attempted to do was fold the towel that I wanted to put in, and I was trying to fold it spa style. I even googled, got the old Google out to find out how to roll them like they do in the spas and tuck the ends in, but it didn't work. And when I tried to put it in the crate, it didn't stay folded up, so I gave up and just unfolded it, draped it over, as you'll see there, draped it over so that the end was hanging down the front at a kind of a, is that an oblique angle? I don't remember my angles. I didn't listen enough in maths in school. So I tucked the edge in. There's a silver trim on the towel, left that hanging out. And then you begin to stack the items in. Now this is a health and beauty kind of gift with a couple of extra personal things because I know what my friend likes. So what you've seen me putting in so far is some coconut body wash and some coconut bath salts. I make sure that I put everything at an angle to try and maintain some height for the basket and to give it some visual help to make it look more appealing. So there's a wash mitt going in the back and I just tucked that in and rested it on the top of the towel. Having the towel in there really helped to give extra height to the basket, but if you weren't putting something like that in, you could scrunch up tissue paper and put that in the bottom and that would work just as well. I've fanned out some face masks there and popped those in behind. And then you'll see me now trying to decide where this body oil should go. So I also had a little hand cream there and I tried them a couple of different ways. I didn't know. I'm looking at that now and I'm thinking, did I move it again in a second? This doing a narration thing is all very complicated. I did move it because here comes the candle. The candle, of course, is the largest thing. I wanted to make sure you could see it once it was in the basket, but also it needed to be near the bottom because it was too heavy to balance on top of the other things, really. So again, that went in at an angle there, and you can just about see that when the basket's completed. And then I popped the other stuff back in around the edges. Again, trying to make sure things stayed angled and remained at a height to give the basket some visual appeal. And next up, I've got some little gift bags there. They also came from Home Bargains, but I bought those a while back. I think they were in the wedding favour section, if I remember correctly. And I'm just opening up some packets of Moam chews, which this basket's my friend Ali for her birthday, and she absolutely loves Moams. So I'm just opening these up. This took quite a while, so I think in a second we'll skip some of this and move to the bit where I finished unwrapping them. It was quite a task not to eat them as well, because I quite like Moam chews as well. So I unwrapped all of those and then popped them inside two of the little gift bags. They were really cheap, those bags. I think there was 10 for 69p or something like that, and they're coming quite handy for sending little items. They're just paper, you know, they're just little folded over paper bags. So in go the Moams. Oh no, there we go, opening some more Moams. I think I used maybe 10 packets, 10 of the little packets in the end. So I bought 3 of the strips. Each strip has 4 little packets, and I think I possibly used 8 or 10. Gosh, I didn't realise I'd kept so much of this part in. This is very dull, isn't it? There's Molly getting bored in the background. I think she was hoping she'd get sweets. She heard the papers rattling and came in to find out what was going on. So we popped the Moams into the little gift bags finally, if anybody's still awake. I sealed them with a little touch of sellotape because they don't have any sealing on, and then tucked those in at an angle as well. And then you need to just kind of look at the basket and make sure that you're happy with the overall effect, and move a couple of things around if necessary to get the finished thing exactly how you want it. I pulled those face masks, beg your pardon. I pulled those back up at the back because they'd slipped down while I was rummaging things around. You can also use little sticky tabs, you know, kind of little sticky sellotape glue dots to hold things in place, but that does mean that when the person comes to unpack the basket, they've got to peel all those little glue dots off, and that can be annoying. And there's a spare packet of Moams for me. I was quite happy about that. So once this is done, we are going to find the shrink wrap. Now I use heat shrink bags, but what I did find, I've got my stash out, and what I did find was that I didn't have one large enough to just slip this in. So you can buy these heat shrink bags on eBay or Amazon. They come in a variety of sizes, from quite small, you know, the right size for a DVD, for example, all the way up to absolutely enormous. But I had run out of enormous. I used to make a lot of gift baskets when I worked for Body Shop, and so I think this is just leftover shrink wrap stock from when I did that. So what I ended up doing was cutting this one open down the side seam. You'll see me doing that any second now, I think. Yep. See me searching for my scissors. And yeah, we snipped this open all the way down the side seam. I opened it out into one large sheet, draped it over the top of the crate, and then sellotape it all around the edges. So this bit takes a little bit of patience. This stuff is quite clingy. Draped it over the top of the crate and then went around the edges. It does help if you've got a sellotape dispenser for this part. So if you're trying to make one of these at home and you don't have a sellotape dispenser, I recommend you cut off your pieces of sellotape and, you know, like you do at Christmas, cut them all off into little strips and stick them along the side of the table or whatever first before you begin. I did consider folding that up and decided it looked better when it was down, I think, afterwards. Yeah, decided it looked better folded down. So yeah, cut up your bits of sellotape first so that you are able to reach out and just grab a piece when you need it. Otherwise this part of the job will drive you bonkers. So all I did then was go around the sides of the crate, sticking the cellophane to the crate itself. And I did that all the way round. Folding the edges in where necessary, because obviously the large flat piece, if you just had the bag, you'd slide the crate in, you kind of bunch it together and tie it at one end with a not a cable tie, kind of a twist tie, and then just go ahead and heat shrink it. But because I didn't have that, I'm having to stick it down all the way around. And you want to try and make sure, if you're doing this, that you've got as many of the edges down as possible, because when it starts to shrink, if you haven't stuck the edges down, it will move away from your items and not shrink properly around them. So all the way around with the sellotape, folding the edges in, trying to make it look neat, trying to make it sure it looks neater from the front. I mean, the back is, you know, nobody's going to see the back of the gift first, are they, unless they're opening it in a very odd way. So there we go with another piece of sellotape, and I think we're nearly done there, sticking it down. A couple of bits more around the side maybe. You see I nearly stuck that to the front, and then I realised what I was doing just in time. I folded it to the side instead. So folded that piece up inside and stuck the bottom edge down. Believe it or not, I did trim some stuff out of this video. Quite why I didn't trim this bit out is anybody's guess. I thought I'd just leave the tedious part in for you guys to see. Eventually we'll get to the point where I'm happy with the amount of sellotape that I've put on this parcel. Probably about 7 or 8 rolls in by now, I should imagine. So finally, after all that sellotaping, here I am applying heat with the hairdryer. It's a very simple process. You use your hairdryer on its usual setting, and you just make sure that you keep it moving as it's travelling around. If you keep it in one place for too long, you will just simply melt a hole in the plastic. So you move it around, and as you do that, you can see the plastic kind of shrink away just in front of you. It just becomes tighter and gathers itself around the items. It gives a really nice professional finish. And you can see the bits you haven't done as you're going along because they become puckered and creased, and you know that you need to go back and cover those bits again, go over those again. So you just keep on moving, turn the basket, making sure as I went round that all of my bits of sellotape were staying stuck and that nothing was coming adrift. And the things at the back there did move down slightly, but that's kind of to be expected really. When you start shrinking the wrap, anything that isn't glued into place is going to shift slightly, but it still retained quite a nice bit of height around the back of there. So I just shrank it all down, kept on turning it around, turning and moving, keeping the hairdryer going as you go. And you can just see, as I moved that hairdryer across there, you could see the wrinkles disappearing, and that's just the bit where the plastic's becoming tighter and shrinking down. It's a really satisfying process actually. It's really quite fun to do. And when it's all done, you will see the final result. I think we're nearly there. One more time around the back just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Making sure those bits of sellotape are stuck down again. And then one more time over. And I think we're more or less done. There we go, hairdryer off. And I'll turn this around now so that you can see the finished result. And there it is, Ali's birthday gift basket, made completely from home bargains and put together at home with my own fair hands. Ali's gift, put together, wrapped, labelled. It weighs about 8 stone. Bear in mind we're meeting in a restaurant for Ali's birthday on Tuesday. I'm a bit worried that I won't be able to carry her gift from the car park to the restaurant. I need a trolley.